Growing up, I was so sure I was going to be a doctor and a princess, and as I got older and began listening to others' opinions, I started losing myself. I forgot my goals and what I really wanted from life, and learning to understand who you are and how to cement your vision is difficult. There are so many paths to take in life, but sometimes all we need is a reset to really make sense on what works for us and where we're going. So let's dive in. Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome to my YouTube channel if you're new here. Today's video is going to be about the 3 keys to yourself and how to quite literally unlock your entire dream life, your entire dream self. The things that I wish I knew, really, truly, I really wish I knew. So we're going to start with self-concept, we'll go into self-image, and then we'll go into self-identity. They all tie into each other. Let's just get started. So what is self-concept? Self-concept is truly identities, beliefs, opinions that we've learned, absorbed, seen on social media, from other people, from teachers, professors. There are so many influences in this world, society, that it's just so much. There's no way that you don't eventually absorb something. So self-concept is essentially all the beliefs that we think identify with us, which leads into self-identity. When it comes to self-concept, what I always do, at least like a refresher or a restart, is at the end of every month, I write down my values, whether it's my love life, my education, personal finances, goals, whatever it is, and I ask myself, is this my goal or is this something that I got on social media? Is this my goal or is this something that my parents put on me? Is this my goal or is it something that I saw somebody else have that all of a sudden I have to have? I've said in my other videos that just because you see something work out really well for someone else and that seems really nice, 9 times out of 10, you're actually chasing that feeling and not that object, item, or whatever they have. You're chasing the feeling of being achievable, being satisfied, because you're actually going after somebody else's goal. Chances are, when you go after that goal, you tend to not feel as satisfied because it wasn't actually your goal. You saw Lucy on TikTok and you're like, I have to have that. So just keep that in mind when you're resetting, restarting, doing that list. When we're doing self-concept, I'm essentially asking you to understand what is you, or what things that you have learned that you do align with versus the habits or the beliefs you want to unlearn. And these 2 things need to be kept on a piece of paper, on Google Documents, whatever that you can visualize and really take the time and be like, I really like an aspect of this idea, but I don't value or align with the entire idea. Then I can go into a middle column. You're really filtering out a little bit of everything. And once you get that, you understand that self-concept is asking you to be the clearest version of yourself. So when you go into self-identity and you go into self-image, but you go into an interview and somebody's like, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're not sitting there reiterating your entire resume. You're there actually talking about yourself because they want to know your passions, your personal habits, so that way they can kind of identify you with if you all align with this like line of work, this career. Now from self-concept, we're going to go into self-image. Self-image is the key to getting that dream life, to having vision boards work, to having literally everything that you want. Self-image is how a person perceives themselves. I've talked about it before, but you cannot self-deprecate yourself over a mistake. If you do something stupid, you're allowed to be like, I messed up. But you can't say, oh, I'm so stupid, I'm so dumb, I'm never gonna do that again, I'm so bad at that, I can't, everybody's so much better than me because they did that in the first try. Whatever the self-deprecation that goes on in your mind, you need to be like, that was a human error, I am human, I messed up, I'm gonna try again. Or I'm going to avoid that because I just don't prefer it. You need to gentle parent yourself into a better track of mindset. I like to compare it to teaching. When you're growing up and you have a strict teacher and they don't let you do a lot, and you might remember some of what they're teaching, but you end up resenting the teacher. You can't be so strict on yourself and be like, I can never mess up. You will end up resenting yourself and falling into a rut and asking yourself, how did I end up here? Maybe it's because you don't trust yourself. Maybe it's because we don't have a good self-image of ourselves. how can you trust someone that you don't respect? So understanding that you can make human errors, you are human, everybody messes up. Whatever helps you lessen this negative self-talk will help you get closer to your goals, closer to that dream life, whatever it is. The assignment for self-image is something that I like to call the U-binder. I've talked about it in my first video on this YouTube channel, and it's essentially a huge binder that has every aspect of your life. It is your future, where you see yourself in a year, where you see yourself in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, where you see yourself right now, your love life. It is so intricate because you are so intricate. You are a complex being. And it's just long list. It's stuff that you want to, just spew onto a piece of paper. I like to say write it out because I think the effort that goes into writing is much more intimate and much more, I don't know how else to put it into words. It's much more intimate because you're really just thinking out what you're about to write next versus typing. A lot of people now can type without looking at their keyboard or whatever, but whatever works for you. I'm not judging. But the U-binder is all about you. It's your aspects, your life, your goals. It is nothing to do with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your partner, your parents. You can put journal prompts in there if you need to get it out, but I don't want to hear anything about boyfriend's goals. Why is he in there? It's called the U-binder. What are we doing? It is a selfish binder. And I don't believe that being selfish is a bad thing, but I do understand the negative connotations around it. I think being selfish is understanding and prioritizing yourself, which a lot of people don't do. Back to the self-image, what I want you to do is write how you want to look, what your goals are, your careers are, your aspects in life, your expectations for yourself, your standards, all of that, and then some. Go on Pinterest, find the prompts, get it done, write it out. The reason that I have it in a binder is because you can change the pages because, like I said before, you evolve, and that is a beautiful thing. And in a journal, it might be harder to rip out the pages. So do what you will with that information, but even on a piece of paper, just chart it out, whatever works. Okay, so now that we understand how to filter out habits, because we're going to be writing out list, typing out list, and being like, I identify with this, I don't identify with that. Then we move on to self-image, where we understand where we want to be in the next year to 2 years, where we are now, and what we're working on is really the identifying part of self-image. Is when we perceive ourselves, we see a being that is trying and is working and is prioritizing themselves. Then we're going to move into self-identity, which is a cemented version of yourself. The important part of understanding self-identity is that when someone comes into your life, whether for 5 years, 5 seconds, however long, when they do something negative, you let it go. You let go that need to be in control and let yourself have the last word. When you are so firm in your identity and you are so firm in who you are and where you're going, the need to be the one to have the last word, to have this large ego, to show off these things is now something you don't value because it doesn't really bring you peace. It brings you pride, and it is two different things because pride feeds the ego, but priorities and peace fills the soul. And you are your soul. I think the ego is good, but I think the ego is mainly fed by social media. It's fed by materialistic items. It is motivation, whereas the soul is discipline. The soul is that thing in your heart that you've always wanted, and some reason you keep going back to it, whereas the ego is the motivation because one day you saw somebody own a BMW and all of a sudden you have to have that BMW. So when you're so stuck in life and you don't know where you're going and you need to understand how to get out of this rut, that's when we go back to the binder, we go back to the journal, we go back to our notes app in our phone, and we realign ourselves with what means with us now, today, in this moment, and what we no longer align with that we aligned with a month ago. You are an infinite being. You will always be changing, you will always be learning. And when you're cemented on who you are and where you're going, aka your goals, nothing is untouchable. Everything is yours. Everything belongs to you. All of a sudden, your manifestations are literally falling in your lap, because the real ones know manifestation is not a method, it's a mindset. Goals are the same thing as manifestation. It's you suddenly aligning with this mindset as, actually, everything is real. I can have everything I want. And you're taking things off the pedestal and you're putting yourself on one. Suddenly you're above these things. You're better than these things. So everything is within your grasp. I hope this video helped. I hope this video made sense, and I hope this reached at least one person that really needed to hear this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.